PA. I'm all casual, and I'm gonna read you an Am I the Asshole post. Here we go. Am I the asshole for telling my mom I'd never forgive her for not teaching me her language and I hate her? I wrote this in English cause it's a lot easier for me. I was born in the UK 2003. My father is English and my mother emigrated to the UK from Hungary in 96. She was 23. Married my dad in 98 and they've been together since. I hold both English and Hungarian passports. I grew up my whole life in the UK and we only ever spoke English in the house growing up. My dad was working for a lot of my childhood, so I spent most of my time with my mom. Probs, about 80%, 20% mom, dad. But even so, she only spoke English to me, my brother, 18 months older, and sister, 4 years younger. I later learned she tried to speak Hungarian with my brother, but stopped completely when he was 2-3 years old. We would go to Hungary about twice a year as a child, and I could speak very little basic words and phrases. It was frustrating to say the least. Bearing in mind I have a lot of family there, and none of them could speak English. Aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, great uncles, etc. My cousins can now speak English because they learned it at school, like most young Hungarians, but I couldn't speak to them growing up. I just had to depend on my mom to translate. It was actually embarrassing for me, even though it wasn't my fault. People would talk to me in Hungarian and I wouldn't understand a word. I remember once when I was 14, I nearly got jumped by a group of lads in my mom's hometown. They spat at me, hit me, and tried to steal my phone because they could see I was foreign, but luckily I got away. If I had spoken Hungarian, that wouldn't have happened. This was a very bad memory for me, and it was my mom's fault. What? Okay. What? Alright. It was my mom's fault. People would always say to me that you can't even speak Hungarian even though your mom is Hungarian. I was like, do you think it's my fault? The worst part in my Hungarian grandparents died by the time I was 15. I literally never had a proper conversation with either of them, and to be honest, that's something I can never let go of, and something that I can't help but feeling angry towards my mom for. My grandmother was the biggest advocate for her grandkids to learn Hungarian. She would always tell my mom to teach us, but she ignored her. Never spoke a word of it at home. It always angered me as a child, especially growing up in the UK. It's very multicultural, and seeing other bilingual kids used to make me jealous, seeing their parents actually cared about them learning the language, even if it was one parent. My friend had an English dad and a Spanish mom. He spoke fluent Spanish, which always angered me. I knew so many kids with the same circumstances. I know so many other kids with a mother from a different country: Spain, France, Czech Republic, Brazil, Italy, and they successfully become fluent in their parents' language. That's their parents, that's not you. I can remember when I was probably 7 or 8 years old maybe, and myself and my siblings, this grammar is driving me crazy, all went up to our mom and asked her if we could learn some Hungarian since we were tired of being embarrassed every year. Do you want to know all she decided to teach us? The phrase for "I don't speak Hungarian." It was almost like she was mocking it. She never made any effort to it, and I'm still angry because when I was 17, I decided to start learning Hungarian. I started with Duolingo, and then started watching shows in Hungarian with subtitles. And I even went online and bought a private tutor. I would practice with I'm reading it as is, I'm as much as I could, and would talk on the phone to my relatives, etc. I studied very hard for a couple of years, and I got very good at it. Not perfect, but conversationally very good. But I don't think I will ever perfect it due to how hard the language is. When conversations get more complex, I struggle a lot, and I struggle with some of the grammar. I don't even know basic English grammar. I don't practice as much anymore, but I'd say I'm 80% fluent. I even ran into a Hungarian girl on holiday, and when I told her I didn't grow up speaking Hungarian, she was shocked. Bullshit. However, I can't forgive my mom for this. I don't see why I could have had to invest time and money as an adult when languages are a lot harder to learn. I could have literally spoken it perfectly as a child, but she took that from me. I don't think I'll ever perfect it, to be honest, and there are a lot of things I need to improve on. I confronted her about it recently. She told me she had found it hard to teach her kids the language, which I don't buy for a second. How hard can it be to speak your native tongue? This child is infuriating me. How hard can it be to speak your own native tongue? I told her okay, sorry about that. I told her at again, this grammar. I told her I'm gonna add, at least I thought she was selfish. She only cared about her own integration and not about her children having the right to talk to her own grandparents. I mean, she didn't even try. How can something be hard if you didn't try it? She thinks she's English. She acts English. Says things a typical English person would do. Does typical English activities despite having the thickest East European accent on the fucking parent planet. Projection marks! I straight up told her, you're not English and you never will be. She has citizenship passport of UK, but that doesn't mean anything. She was very loving throughout my childhood and even is now. But this is something I just can't overlook. Let go. She embarrassed me throughout my entire childhood, even now when I slip up. I felt like an outsider when I was there and I just can't connect with it. Boo fucking who. The worst part is they gave me a horrible name which I hated and subsequently changed not too long ago. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's quite common in Hungary, but doesn't work at all in the UK. Pause. Obsession with Hungary and your Hungarian culture. Give a fun ass Hungarian name you won't say. Anglicize it to whatever random name. I'm going to say Billy or Bubba. And you're pissed at your mom? Okay, let me continue. When I asked her why she picked this name, she told me because it works in Hungarian and English. It doesn't work in English at all. I'm guessing names like Vladimir or something like that. And I went insane at her, as if she had the nerve to say that. If she cared so much about Hungary, why didn't she teach me her fucking language? So that's my rant over. It's a long one, I know, but I had to get it off my chest. Thanks. And yes, this person's an asshole. And when I was on the subreddit, pretty much a lot of people said I am the asshole. Their redditor's name is Leading Macaroon 5284. If you want to read it, it's I'm the asshole for telling my mom I'd never forgive her for not teaching me her language and that I hate her. Ungrateful, spoiled little brat. Alright, that's that.